Hello again. Whenever some institution speaks of increasing diversity or reflecting the community they serve or some similar phrase, what they really mean is getting more black people in. There are two reasons for this. The first is that the ethnicity of black people is clearly visible in photographs. Having a lot of gypsies, Australians, or working class people in a photograph of your student body or workforce will still make it look pretty white, even though it is technically far more diverse. It is black faces which are the outward and visible sign of your success in diversification. The other reason for black people being the focus is, to put it bluntly, that they will seldom make it into either the higher ranks of a commercial company or public body by their own unaided efforts, and nor will they get into the most academic universities without a leg up, to use a colloquial phrase. There is no difficulty for Chinese people and Indians to get into professions such as accountancy, law, or banking, and nor has there ever been a problem at Oxford and Cambridge in finding students of those ethnicities who are eager and intellectually bright enough to qualify for entrance. This is not about racial prejudice on the part of universities or professions. Black teenagers do not, as a rule, do very well in their A levels. So if a course at Oxford requires three A levels, two at A star and one at A, the chances of any black kids gaining those grades is very low. In the description to this video, I give a link to the government website, which records the ethnicity of British 18-year-olds who gain three A's at A level. So we see that more than 27% of students of Chinese heritage manage this, 21% of Indians, 13.5% of white British students, and fewer than 8% of black pupils. They are very unlikely to get the grades needed to apply for Oxford or Cambridge. Still, the good universities have managed to get over that by lowering their standards and inviting black students for interview and admitting them with lower grades at A level than they expect from Chinese students. This is, of course, a shocking instance of racial prejudice, but it is in a good cause, so we'll let that pass. An example of the calibre of such students may be seen in the fellow who was nearly chair of the Oxford Union, and may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. I dare say that viewers will recall the controversy which surrounded him last year. The problem has arisen, though, with the examinations which those universities set themselves to assess which students are capable of coping with certain courses. Take philosophy, politics, and economics, which is a ferociously tricky course, requiring for the economics component, for example, things such as a knowledge of calculus. Oxford and Cambridge use the thinking skills assessment to select the very brightest for this course. In the description to this video, I give a link to a sample paper. The viewers might like to look at it. I will freely confess that I would do very poorly if I had to sit this. It is a way of selecting only the very brightest minds for certain courses. Unfortunately, black students do so abysmally at this that, even bearing in mind that they are often places with lower A-level grades, their scores at the TSA are so poor that it's obvious they will not cope with the course. Do you suppose the answer that the two universities have come up with to get round this difficulty and so admit more black teenagers to their student body? Why? They're scrapping their own tests in order, they say, to do away with the mystique of Oxbridge and not discourage students from non-traditional backgrounds. And this is a plain and demonstrable lie. Those tests enable them to maintain their academic integrity and ensure that they are the best in Britain and also the best in the world. Now they are to use the same system as other universities in the Russell Group. Doubtless in coming years, photographs of the student bodies at Oxford and Cambridge will look far more diverse, but this will be at the cost of their being world-class universities.